Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the All Burgundy and Gold Everything podcast. I'm Glenn. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. We're going to talk a little bit about Josh Harris's press conference from yesterday, give you an update on who's already interviewed for the Washington Commanders head coaching position that's available. So stick around as I get to that part, and I'll let you know who's already interviewed as we did this video at the time of recording this video. Once again, Ron Rivera has been relieved of his duties as the head football coach of the Washington Commanders. Josh Harris had a press conference upon yesterday. Josh Harris mentioned he plans a thorough but rapid search with hopes of finding top executives and have them in place so that person can hire a coach in the rest of the front office. He has assembled a dream team together in this search. He has put together Myers, who used to be with the Golden State Warriors, Spellman, who's worked with the Minnesota Vikings for the last 10 years. He also has Mitch Rawls, Magic Johnson, and Dave Blitzer is a part of this team in search to find this top executive. He said he's looking for a head of football operations, and he wants to put them in place. He not only put them in place, but he wants to have the best talent come to Washington. He wants the best players to come to Washington. He wants the best executive to come to Washington. And he wants the football person, the head of football operations, to hold everybody accountable for their positions, for their jobs. And that's what's been missing in Washington for the last couple of years. People holding someone accountable for what they are and not doing. Under the Ron Rivera regime, he didn't hold coaches accountable. He held on to Scott Turner a long time. He held on to Jack Del Rio a long time. He didn't hold some players accountable for their actions and what they needed to do. And Josh Harris is saying, I'm cleaning house. I'm bringing in people who will hold folks accountable in this Washington organization and to make this organization elite again. We talked about it on our podcast earlier this week. This team has become the laughing stock of the NFL. They're 4-13 this season. Teams like the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, who used to be the laughing stock of the league, has leaped the Washington Commanders because they have strong structure and good executives in place. And on Monday, the Washington Commanders and Josh Harris had already reached out to top executives, right? They reached out to San Francisco 49ers assistant GM Adam Peters. They reached out to Chicago Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham, the Cleveland Browns assistant GM Glenn Cook, Philadelphia Eagles assistant GM Alex Hellaby, and Kansas City Chiefs assistant GM Mike Borgezinga. They also reached out and asked for requests to meet with some of these coaches, right? They reached out to the Detroit Lions to interview Ben Johnson. They reached out to the Houston Texans for their offensive coordinator Bob Slowick. Also, the Baltimore Ravens assistant head coach and defensive line coach Anthony Weaver and Mike McDonald. They reached out to them. They wanted them to come in and be interviewed for their head coaching position. Josh Harris also didn't leave out in his press conference that Eric Bieniemy may still get a chance to have an interview. He talked to Eric Bieniemy. He wants him to interview for the job. I know many fans want Eric Bieniemy to be the head coach of this Washington football team. So he can hold some of the players accountable. Some other coaches who've been named, who they've reached out to, has been Raheem Morris. They've reached out to Aaron Glenn. They reached out, as I mentioned, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald. They reached out to him as well. They're looking to have the ingredients to make a good football team. The coach that's already interviewed this morning has been Dan Quinn. He's the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. They reached out. He's already interviewed for the position, and Dan Quinn wouldn't be a bad job. Look what he did for the Washington look what he's done for the Dallas Cowboys defense in the past few seasons that he was there. Look what he did several years ago. He was a quarter away from winning the Super Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons, the New England Patriots came back and won that football game. So Dan Quinn could be a quality coach here for Washington. That's just one interview they've done so far. There'll be many interviews. But again, Josh Harris wants a thorough process to be done. He wants this process to be thorough. He wants it to be rapid, and he wants his team to have winners in the house. This team is going to be turned over a lot of free agents. We're going to have a video talking about the free agents for the Washington Commanders who are free agents. What free agents should they keep? What free agents should they let walk away? So stay here for all Burgundy and Gold everything as we keep you updated on the Josh Harris group and the Washington Commanders. While you're around, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Again, Josh Harris is very optimistic about what he can do with this team. He's He's really ready to turn this team around. He wants a thorough, quick process, and he wants the ball to be moving very quickly. As we mentioned, he's reached out to many associates, many GMs, assistant GMs, and head coaches. He requested that upon yesterday, and Dan Quinn from the Dallas Cowboys has already interviewed for the job. We'll keep you updated. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.